I hope you don't wait to give me roses. Please don't take too long to think that you should know me. Please, for real. Please don't wait too long to tell me I'm the shit, yo. See you flourish, looking salty, throwing fits, yo. Then you bury, getting lonely, wanna miss, yo. Get from around me, you clowny, you looking needy, yo.
Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Facts. I'm your host, Drizzle. Today we got another special guest in the building, the creator of Life's Journeys Clothing, my man Chris Hudson. How you doing today,
man? I'm doing good, bro. Thanks for having me on the show.
No doubt. Now we did a podcast a couple years ago, man, and where was it at again?
We was at established downtown Louisville, established boutique.
Okay,
yeah, with Dante and my man Desmond.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to since then?
Bro, just really, man, just growing the brand. That's been like one of the key things. Doing a lot of traveling, a lot of pop-up shops. Just really kind of elevating for real, and just trying to take things to that next level. So since 3 years, man, I've seen like tremendous growth, within the brand. So that's kind of what I've been doing as far as that goes.
Now, you said recently you just moved back to Atlanta. What was your decision behind that?
Yeah, so essentially I was out in California. I was in the Los Angeles area for 2.5 years. Went out there really just to kind of study the market, study the industry, just to kind of really learn a lot about the business, experiments, brand experiences, how to create experiences. Why is it that a lot of businesses come out of LA? How do they kind of, leverage the market? What do they do to kind of take off? Different things like that, right? So I've actually just really learned a lot while I've been out there. But for the reason for me coming back, of course, closer to family, and I felt that I could take the knowledge that I actually gained in Los Angeles and come back and apply that, in the Atlanta market. So that's kind of one of the reasons for me kind of moving back. However, I'm still going to be working out of the bi-coastal to kind of, still go back and forth a little bit at a time to, still make sure I'm freshening up in that area. So.
Okay.
But yeah, and then my son too, closer to him, he's going to be in middle school this coming year. So I think it's very key for me to be that, continue to be that influence in his life, especially transitioning to the next level of his life. So that was another intricate part of me moving back as well.
Okay. Now, like, have you ever thought about? I've seen you do a lot of pop-up shops.
Yeah, definitely.
Pop-up shops and everything. Have you ever inquired just, what, I'm gonna get open up my own Life's Journey clothing store, or maybe a boutique?
For sure. I actually opened up a storefront a couple years ago. We had a good run with it. We was open for about 9 months. About 6 months, actually, 6 to 7 months. They kept breaking into the store.
Okay.
I felt like
in Lexington?
Here in Lexington, yeah.
Okay.
I felt like the location was a pretty good, decent location for just starting out. Honestly, not sure why they kept breaking into the storefront, but it happened. But through that, it actually kind of helped me grow my online presence, and that was like a huge thing for me to kind of do, is elevate from the online perspective as well. But then I also was thinking to myself, I don't want to just to kind of create like another boutique or storefront, because you have to deal with that overhead. So I have 2 different avenues that I'm actually working on now. So I have this truck that I'm actually turning into a storefront, where it allowed me to be mobile. And then on the second hand, I'm actually working on getting a small space in Atlanta, but not just building it from a clothing perspective, but just focusing on building like a brand experience. So I'm gonna have a few different elements attached to the actual store that I haven't really released, because we're still kind of brushing out the ideal and everything. But yeah, it's probably coming like 2020 or 2021, sometimes around then. But I just don't want to build a storefront and then it only lasts for a couple years. I just want it to really be like a staple, you know what I mean? And like a space where you can go and not just get clothing, but something that's going to really like an experience. Yeah. So I got the idea of what I'm doing. It's just now just trying to find the location and the resources to kind of, make it make sense. So, yeah.
Now, would you bring that after going through, the first store here in Lexington, would you bring that back to Lexington?
It's a possibility. I think with Lexington, with it being a smaller market, I think, essentially, you're going to continue to sell to the same customers, right? But it's an experience within itself. But I have some other plans for what I want to do for Lexington. I want to build like the first community center here in Lexington that's going to range from entrepreneurship, engineering, a lot of different things to kind of help elevate, our community, and not just provide classes, but provide funding as well. Because I think that's key. Like, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have like the funding or know how to get that funding, it's kind of hard to move to that next step, right? So, but my plan for Lexington is really like focusing on building like a entrepreneur community center that stems around a lot of different programs, for our community. So
okay, that's dope. That's dope. That's definitely something that that's needed.
Yeah, for sure. It is, man. It definitely is.
So what's the? Because when I first heard about Life's Journey, I was talking to my friend Don. He was like, this is years ago. This is probably 2012, 2013. And he was like, yeah, man, you heard of Life's Journey before? I was like, nah, man, I ain't heard of it. He was like, man, they got a commercial that came on BET or something like that. Yeah, for sure. And I was like, a commercial on BET? Because I didn't really watch TV.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, commercial on BET.
For sure.
And he was like, man, that's huge, man. That's huge. So, like, what was that like when your commercial was shown on a platform like BET?
To me, like, I've always like focused on creating emotions and capturing that emotions that actually triggered people. So for me, when we did that commercial, like, to me it was just like it was a dope feeling. It was I think it was just more or less of just showing that it's possible, I guess, right? And to me, it was just like it was a dope feeling, right? But my mind is always thinking like, what's next? Yeah. But to be able to take something, I worked with my man BC, Brian Campbell, and everybody that was a part of that, made it a dope commercial, and to actually sit down and watch it and have my son and my family watch it as well, it just really like show like, wow, this is dope, what I mean? And for them to actually see that, my son to experience those emotions while it took place was definitely a dope feeling for me and them, So yeah, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like, you made it. As just more or less like, yo, this is dope, that we was able to take something that started as an idea, put it together, and me and BC kind of came together and spearheaded that whole project, and I thought it was dope, man. So,
yeah, because I've, like I said, I've been following you on social media for a couple of years from now, and I've seen the commercial. Like, I went, and looked and watched it before a while ago, but I've never really seen you talk about the commercial a lot. And I feel like a lot of times when people get that type of, I don't want to call it moderate success, but when they do something like that is major,
for sure,
because it is major. You don't want to say it is major, but when they do something like that, it's a huge accomplishment. They sometimes they let that accomplishment become their identity.
For sure.
Like, I got a BET commercial. I got a commercial BET. I got, what I'm saying? They just keep saying, sure, and then like that's just all you know them for. Like, well, they had a commercial on BET, and that was it. You know
definitely.
And you kind of you didn't lean on that as like, that's who I am. Like,
for sure,
it's more to Life's Journey than just a commercial.
Most definitely.
Why do you feel like you kind of naturally take that approach?
Yeah, I think I naturally take the approach of not being satisfied, right? My mission is to always feel like, what's next, right? And not to a point where you don't appreciate those small wins, but it's to a point of like, okay, what do I have to do next? Like, what is my next move, right? Because sometimes, like you said, you do see a lot of people that focus on, man, I did this or I did that, and they're content with that, and they still talking about that same win from 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that can hold you back from getting to that next level in life. So with me, my mindset is always thinking like, there's still more people out here that I have to reach. There's still more of what I have to do. So I never will fully get caught up in like success or my last accomplishment, because I'm always working. Like Lamar Jackson had a shirt on. He said, "No one cares, work harder." That's just always been like my philosophy with success. It's like, okay, what's next? All right, I did this, I did that. That's why I never really sat and dwell on my accomplishments, because my mind is always thinking like I got to do more, but not more to where I'm not appreciative, but more in a sense of I'm only here for a small amount of time. So I have to literally make every move, every decision, every opportunity count, not just for me, but for something where somebody can look at and use that as inspirational hope to kind of help get them to that next level. So that's why I'm never really caught up in my last success. And that's what's kept me humble. Like, it's not brag or boast about, you know, the things that I've accomplished. You know what I'm saying? There's always work to do. So that's why I take that philosophy or that approach.
Okay. Now, what was the inspiration behind the Life's Journey logo?
Yeah, oh man, it's interesting. So the inspiration stemmed from when I first started Life's Journey. I actually went to a buddy. He actually drew the eagle, but what he did, he took the Harley Davidson logo, and I didn't know. And instead of leaving Harley Davidson, he put Life's Journey in there. So at that time, I was operating with Harley Davidson's logo. So I had a good friend, DeAndre Adams. He was buying like a lot of T-shirts from me at that particular time, and they ended up going to a conference or a basketball conference somewhere, and he bought like a whole bunch of Life's Journey shirts that had the eagle with the Life's Journey, the Harley Davidson logo, pretty much. And he wore it to this tournament or whatever. And they was getting ready to start the game, and they told him like, "Hey, you can't play in those shirts because it's copyright infringement." And he was like, "What?" So he texted me. I'm like, "Bro, I don't know." Like, you know what I'm saying? Because at that time I was just doing things. I didn't really like look too far into things. I had an idea. I did it. Didn't do really the research. So he told me that, and then literally like the next few days, my dad was cleaning a house because I was helping him clean houses at the time. And we was actually cleaning a client's house, and I just remember seeing a bag with the Harley Davidson logo on the floor, which is completely ironic. But I looked down, I was like, "Yo, that's like the same logo as the Life's Journey eagle." So now, from then, when I talked to Dre, I was like, "Oh snap, it makes sense." So I got a little discouraged, so I actually stopped doing the brand for a while because I was transitioning from Lexington to Atlanta to go to college rather. Ended up like stopped for about a year and a half, ended up coming back home. I got in a car accident, and the car accident actually stemmed the logo. You know, it's pretty much me with the backpack and the stick, continuing on with my life's journey, leaving everything behind me and kind of continuing on with my future. So the logo in its entirety, it came from an experience, which was a life or death situation that actually, you know, happened to me, and I actually used that as motivation to create this whole logo, and kind of stem from there, man. So I was very fortunate and blessed to make it out of the accident that I was involved in, and from then I was actually on bed rest for like 3 weeks. So with me being on bed rest, I would just remember just drawing, and I ended up coming up with that, man. So it was kind of crazy how that all worked out, and it helped me reshape the brand. And that's when I started to back up in about 2000, the end of 2009. So I got everything trademarked. So started to back up in 2010. So it's been 9 years now since I've been operating with the brand. But I've been doing it for quite some time, but 9 years officially with everything trademarked and everything like that. So
okay.
I hope you don't wait to give me roses. Please don't take too long to think that you should know me. Please, for real. Please don't wait too long to tell me I'm the shit, yo. See you flourish, looking salty, throwing fish, yo. Then you bury, getting lonely, wanna miss, yo. Get from around me, you clowny, you looking needy, yo. I hope you don't wait to give me roses.